Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. Today I'm going to tell you about this beautiful 2018 BMW M2 that we have for sale. One of my all-time favorite driver's cars. Really, as far as a car designed for driver's enjoyment, I think BMW really perfected it with the M2, especially the manual transmission. In fact, I'm a little bit of a manual transmission snob. I own four cars, two of them are manual transmissions. My daily driver is a manual. I have general principle as a used car manager. If I buy a car like this for our store to sell, not for me, but for a store to sell, I really won't buy it unless it has a manual transmission, just because that's the way I am. And maybe you kind of think along those lines. Well, you might agree with me. And I guess a good segue for talking about this vehicle is how we acquired this. This was actually a trade-in for a brand new Tesla. Tesla only sells used Teslas. They're a clean energy company, so selling gas-powered cars isn't very good for their image, and plus they're only equipped really to service Teslas. So all their off-brand stuff they take it on trade, they sell at the auction, and one of my jobs as a used car manager is to acquire inventory for our store, and Tesla has amazing trades. In fact, most dealerships that would take an M2 like this with 12,000 miles would keep it. They would not send it to the auction. Maybe if they were Dodge dealership in Fargo, North Dakota that doesn't have very much business, but most dealerships out here in our area, the Seattle-Tacoma area, they would keep this because this thing is like gold. It's gold, you know, sales-wise because it's a desirable vehicle, and it's gold because it's an amazing vehicle. We have lots of amazing cars in our lot. You know, right now we have a 14 Porsche Carrera S. We have a 2016 Z06 convertible. Yesterday I was driving a Tesla P90D with 760 horsepower, but if someone said, hey Joe, you could pick any car on the lot to drive to the Oregon coast around Mount Rainier for a day and a night with nice dry roads, you could pick any vehicle, it would be this one, because this is one of the ultimate driver's vehicles. And the irony, I guess, with it being traded in on Tesla, if you watch some of my videos about Teslas, I do think electric cars are the future. I think probably most vehicles in the next 5 or 10 years will end up being electric. But when it comes to driver's enjoyment, I'd say this is the last of the great analog vehicles. Amazing twin turbo, I don't know if it's twin turbo or it's a twin scroll turbo inline 6, 365 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission. You know, that P90D I was driving with 760 horsepower in a straight line, it is definitely faster than this M2, but rolling through the gears, hearing that lovely raspy sound of that inline 6, rolling through the gears, you can't beat it. Even though it's not as fast as a Tesla, this is a car that tickles the senses. And if you love driving, if you love manual transmissions, like I said, I think BMW really achieved automotive perfection as far as analog cars go. So this is the last of the great analog vehicles. I don't know if, you know, BMW will continue to make, you know, gas, you know, cars with manual transmissions 10 years from now. But this example is a clean Carfax one. Relatively local from the Oregon area, only have 12,015 miles, very low miles for 2018. It's now 2022. Most people average about 12,000 miles a year. So clearly this is a vehicle that was used as like a secondary fun car, most likely not a daily driver. It has the executive package, beautiful supportive leather seats with this nice contrast stitching. I'm 6'2", I fit very comfortably in here. I love the one of the best in the business manual gearboxes, 6-speed manual, and it has this nice Alcantara shift boot. You have a drive mode selector that will make changes to transmission shift points. Well, not transmission shift points, it's a manual. It'll make changes to steering effort, throttle sensitivity, traction, stability control settings, dual zone auto climate control, heated seats, nice leather up steering wheel, and with most M cars it's going to have the contrast stitching, the stitching on the leather wrap wheel in the BMW M colors. Feels wonderful in your hands. Of course, we have a navigation system, we have a rear parking camera, rear parking sensors, and a Harman Kardon audio system. Aluminum pedals. Looks like we have a lane departure warning, and maybe I think that's lane keep assist if I understand that correctly. Memory driver's seat. Really nice color combination on blue on black leather, and this thing is pretty much in pristine condition. Well, with 12,000 miles on it, you're gonna have a hard time finding one mark on it. These Michelin tires are absolutely amazing, and look at the size of those brakes. Huge cross-drilled rotors, enormous brake calipers, very large brakes for a car that's not that big. And the one thing I like about the M2, it's kind of more in tradition to the older M3s. I grew up, you know, working at car lots in the 90s, so I drove the old school, was it the E34 M3, drove, you know, the 300ZXs, super turbos, 3000 GTs, Eclipse turbos. You know, I grew up driving cars like that on the dealership lots, and as nice as the new M3 and M4 is, it's gotten bigger, it's gotten heavier. It's not as confident inspiring. You get behind the wheel of this thing, it's so small, light, and nimble. You feel like you have control over it. You feel like you can toss it around, and it feels like it's a little bit more forgiving. I just feel like when I drive this car, I kind of feel, I can feel what's going on a little bit more in some of the other cars where you kind of feel detached. They kind of feel big. You know, you're not sure if it's going to stay on the road or not. Completely the opposite with this vehicle. And looks-wise, I don't think there's like a bad line or angle on this thing. I mean, it absolutely is beautiful. It's that traditional BMW understated styling. Obviously, it might not have people whipping their heads around looking at this vehicle. You know, maybe obviously people that know about cars, they'll get their attention, but you know, it's something that kind of flies a little bit under the radar. But man, when you get behind the wheel and really drive this thing, especially on curvy roads where you can open it up and really stretch its legs, this thing is like your own personal amusement park ride. Absolutely amazing automobile. One of my top driving cars ever. You know, and I've driven lots of cars, lots of high-end performance vehicles. Not, you know, Ferraris or Lamborghinis, but stuff, you know, M6s, you know, Z06 Corvettes, you know, Red Sport Q50s, a lot of stuff like that. Well, thanks so much for taking the time today to watch this video. I'd also like to mention that we have complimentary delivery to pretty much anywhere in Washington and Oregon. I'm having a hard time talking today. So we can put this in our car hauler, we can tow it to you, we can print up all the paperwork, and this beautiful M2 can be all yours without leaving your neighborhood. And of course, if you live a little bit further away, we can't do complimentary shipping, but we can ship nationwide. We work with a lot of transportation and logistics companies. We can get you a shipping quote, and we can make it relatively easily process purchasing this M2 out of state. We do it all the time. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day.